What is happening, Cowboys Nation? Welcome to Midday with Cam and Mass. I'm
What's
glad you
going on?
could join us, and hopefully we've all done a little recovery from last Sunday. Aaron
From
Rodgers,
that game. Does it
Lambeau
again.
Field. It's Groundhog Day, kids. It's happened again. But we're going to touch on it a little bit. I know everybody's kind of dissected and drawn it out a lot already. We're going to touch on it, and then we're going to move on to more important things, which is the Vikings coming up. But,
Yeah.
let's do, I guess, what we got to do and talk a little bit about that game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, can you ever feel comfortable as a Cowboys fan with a lead late in the game against Aaron Rodgers? It's just, he's playing terror. There's some things that motivate players. There's some things like, hey, I know I can do good here. I have the confidence that I'm going to do good. And that's Aaron Rodgers when he goes to Florida, and when he that's the opposite. When he goes to Florida, he just
Right.
plays bad. But when it's the Cowboys, he just has this confidence of, hey, I have always played great against this team. I'm going to play great. You can see, he's been playing really bad all year. Last week, he had terrible passes. It's not like the Lions have a great defense. It's that Aaron Rodgers was just laying up bad passes for them. And then those passes that he hasn't been making all year against us, he's nailing them right in the bucket. He's playing outside of his mind like he has in the past. If he played like he played against us for the entire year, he's the MVP again. Like, that's just how he works against us. For whatever reason, I don't get it. It doesn't matter what coaching staff we have, what players we have. Aaron Rodgers against the Cowboys is just a bad equation for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I've been there in person. It was 2017. They're in person. A minute 47 left.
And he always beats us in the last minute. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So annoying.
Yeah. Everybody around me was cheering. They were excited. Oh, we're going to win this. And I was like, we just gave Aaron Rodgers way too much time. And we did.
Yeah.
Just way too much.
Absolutely.
You can't do that. Okay. And let's talk about the obvious that, okay, we know the run defense was horrid for some reason. Quinn made Micah Parsons, I think, his biggest linebacker role that he's ever had in a game since he's become a Cowboy.
Probably, yeah. He played, I think, 67% of the snaps was at linebacker. Which
I want to say he took 10 snaps at edge, and that was it. But our pass defense was the worst that I've seen it in. I mean, we can't even just say this season. We have to go into last season before we can talk about that pass defense being that bad.
Yeah,
it was horrid.
It was horrid. And you got to remember is that we were down. I mean, I don't want to make too many excuses. We were down 2 starting cornerbacks. Jordan Lewis is out for season. Right. And then Anthony Brown got hurt, got a concussion on the play that he got burnt for a touchdown. So you can't really knock that play for, hey, we were hurt. But,
right.
The rest of the game, up until that point, Aaron Rodgers was not throwing on us a ton until that play. And then Anthony Brown goes down, and it gets really ugly really fast with the passing game. We could have stopped anything. Deron Bland, he's played great through training camp, played great so far, has made a couple plays. It was not his day at all.
No. On Sunday. And we're asking an entire game out of him and not just small samples. Yeah. I mean, he had to step into the full-time role there in slot.
He struggled a lot. And then Kelvin Joseph came in, and Kelvin Joseph struggled. He even struggled when he played against the Bears. So it was a tough game defensively. Like, everybody wants to hark on that run defense. And they weren't good. This was probably one of the worst showings they've had.
Right.
But honestly, the pass defense was a way bigger concern, in my opinion. Just because you got a quarterback who is struggling, a quarterback who is playing at the bottom of quarterbacks for the entire league, and he diced our secondary up.
And they also took Diggs out of the equation. I mean,
they completely didn't even throw it.
Exactly. And how many weeks in a row have we been like, yeah, go ahead, try Diggs, try him, go ahead, throw it to
Nobody's
him.
trying Diggs.
And they figured it out. Don't try Diggs.
Yeah.
So
Anthony Brown's got to step up his game. Deron Bland has to step up his game because, Jordan Lewis is gone for the year.
right.
So these guys need to step up. Hopefully we'll see what happens with Anthony Brown and concussion protocol if he can play on Sunday. If he can't, there's a couple matchups. We'll get into it later, but there's a couple matchups I'm a little bit worried about with this Vikings offense. So we will get into that in a little bit. But yeah, this Packers game, it was difficult. It's a difficult film to watch. There was some mistakes on offense. The offense didn't play bad, in my opinion, at all. You put up 28 points. You're not playing bad. But there were some critical mistakes made. Some receivers running the wrong routes. It's a little tough, but it was a game we should have won, and we didn't pull it out, unfortunately.
Yeah. I need redemption CD to just be all game CD.
Seriously.
I mean, once he makes that fatal mistake, we've got lights out. We have our wide receiver one. Mm-hmm. I need him to be wide receiver one the moment he steps onto the field. So maybe that's something mental for him to work out, anything like that. We'll touch real quickly on the overtime. And it doesn't matter if it was immediately after the game or now Thursday, days later. I will die on this hill that you take the points in that field goal. You can't make it easier for Aaron Rodgers to win this game. And that's exactly what they did. By not taking those points, I mean, we can go back and play before, and why didn't they run that ball on third down? But
okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go. Get it
out. I understand. I completely understand. That fourth down call was horrible game management by Mike McCarthy. In my opinion, in overtime, you always take the points. Now, if or at the end of the game, like if it's, you're tied at the end of the game, you need points, go for the field goal. But in overtime, you always take the points, especially on a 4th and 4. The offensive line did not hold up on that 4th and 4 call. They got blown off the ball. Dak didn't have time. The routes didn't have time to develop. If you look at it, when Dak is scrambling, trying to get out of that pressure, Gallup comes wide open, but he just didn't have time to, and that was Dak's read. You could see Dak looking at him,
right?
But he just didn't have time, unfortunately. The third down call. This is my thing. The third down, I get it. Hindsight 2020, it didn't work, and everybody's like, "Oh, we should have ran it there. We should have ran it there. We should have ran it there." Like you always, if you're gonna go for it on 4th down, just run it there. I get it, but the play worked. It's just that the ref allowed Jair Alexander to get there a full second early and hit CeeDee Lamb. That was pass interference all day, every day. The routes open. He beats Alexander. The ball's delivered on time and in the right spot, but Alexander hits CeeDee Lamb early. I don't like to blame a lot of things on refs. I don't want to be that guy who's like, "Oh, it's the ref's fault. We lost the game." No, I get it. We could have won the game many other times. It should have never went to overtime. I get that. But when you get to that situation, you're in that situation, that's got to be a flag that's thrown because it is clear as day pass interference. So the play call worked to get the first down.
Right.
It's just that they committed a pass interference and the flag wasn't thrown. That's the truth of it.
Right.
So I'm not mad at the play call at all because it worked.
That's a good point. I agree with you.
The whole sequence, you're Mike McCarthy, you go for the points. I'm with you. I'm dying on this hill with you. You're not alone.
Yeah.
You take the points and you hope that your defense, this defense that has won you games all season,
has carried you.
I know they have not played well that day. I get it. But they just made a stop in the 4th quarter when you needed them. Remember when we punted back to the Packers with less than 2 minutes, and everybody's like, all they needed was a field goal, and everybody's like, "Oh, the game's over," because they just gave Aaron Rodgers the ball back with under 2 minutes and he's going to go down and score. Well, guess what? They punted, and Dallas had the ball back when the time expired.
Right.
So the defense made that stop.
Yeah.
Right?
They also relied on an offense who didn't score one single point in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
At all.
Kick the field goal, take the points, and say, you now have to go down and either kick a field goal to tie it, or you have to score a touchdown to beat us. I'm not giving you the opportunity to me fail, and now you only have to go down and kick a field goal.
Exactly.
I'm kicking my field goal. I'm getting my points. And if I stop you, I win.
Right. Exactly.
It's a simple decision, in my opinion. And Mike McCarthy, from the beginning of that game, made poor decision after poor decision based purely on emotions of playing against the Packers in Lambeau again. It blows my mind. He's done it multiple times this year. The worst thing a coach can do is choose to receive the ball to start the game.
Yeah.
Just stupid.
Yeah, I will never understand that one. The other comment that bothered me is that he knew on second down that he was going to go for it on the fourth down. I mean, I can understand having somewhat of that mindset in your head, but things can happen before then that like you said, it was an emotional decision. He wanted to be the hero, the savior there in Lambeau in front of his 40 friends and family that he played hoops with at 9:00 that morning. You know, he walked onto that field wearing a trench coat that looked just like Lombardi would have worn.
Yeah, he did that.
I mean, there was just so much symbolism. I mean, Mike, it wasn't your family reunion, but so that kind of leads us into our next segment that we're going to talk about. And we can go through the history of this team since we won our last Super Bowl. And it's up and down as to winning seasons, losing seasons, winning seasons, losing seasons. So we're going to talk about Mike McCarthy keeping his job. And should he keep his job? And I know a lot of people are saying, you don't fire a coach that went 12-5. You don't fire a coach that's winning so far this season. When are we going to stop thinking about what our record was in season and look and see what we're doing postseason? And if that's when you should be staying around. And if this team can't make postseason, does he have a job next year?
Oh, no. If they don't make the postseason, no, that would be an epic collapse. No way with how weak the NFC is. If he doesn't make the postseason, he's gone. And I'll take it further. I think if he doesn't win a playoff game, he's gone. And I could even make the argument that if he doesn't make it to the NFC Championship game, he is gone. Look, I'm with you right now. Jason Garrett won 12 games. Jason Garrett won 10 games a bunch of times.
Yep. Yeah. He went 13-3, 12-4, and 10-6. Those are his big claims to fame right now.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter what you do in the regular season as long as you make the playoffs. Get in the playoffs. And then what are you doing in the playoffs? Look, I say this all the time. Wins are not a quarterback stat. I go over and over. Wins are not a quarterback stat. It's a team sport. But wins are a coaching stat.
Absolutely.
100% wins are a coaching stat. Like, as a coach, you have to win or you're not going to be a coach.
Right.
And it doesn't just matter about the regular season. It matters about the postseason. Are you getting somewhere when it matters? And Mike McCarthy we've already talked plenty of times about he doesn't control any of the units. He kind of manages, oversees everything, does game management, time management. And that's some of the biggest issues we have. Discipline, game management. And that's all on him. So my book, if he doesn't make the playoffs, he's out. If he doesn't win a playoff game, he's out. If he doesn't go to the NFC Championship game, I'm probably firing him. If he goes and wins the Super Bowl, sure. Yeah, bring him back. I'm happy to bring him back. No idea. No problem with that. But right now, I'm not confident in Mike McCarthy leading this team all the way because of those. Whenever games are tight, whenever games are close and on the line, you have a feeling that Mike McCarthy is going to make a boneheaded decision, and he does it a lot.
Oh, a lot. And this is one of these times. I'm done with the McCarthy apologists this weekend. You know, I was starting to give him some grace. And this weekend, ripped it straight out.
It
And
just really bugs me. And I don't know why it bugs me so much, and it doesn't seem to bug other people, but like choosing to receive the ball to start the game is such a no-no. Like you are purposely taking the opportunity to double dip out of your hands and giving it to the other team.
Right. I wonder
So
in the
like it
history
just
of
doesn't
the
make sense to me.
NFL, I wonder in the history of NFL how many times someone's actually not deferring the ball. I
It
mean,
happens
it can't be
it
much
happens
though.
from time to time, but the overwhelming majority of teams defer
Right.
because it's the smart thing to do. Because if you can get the ball with a little bit of time left in the second quarter, you can go down, score a field goal or a touchdown, and you get the ball right back.
Right.
And it literally can turn the tides of games. Either you're winning by a touchdown and you score and you go up by 10 or 14, and then you get the ball right back. You score again, you could put the game out of reach. Or say you're losing, say it's 14-0, time's running down in the second quarter, you get a touchdown, you get the ball right back. Guess what? You were just down 14-0, and in a matter of no time, you get the chance to go down and score to try to tie this game. It's like a turnover, people.
Right.
You get the ball right back.
Yeah.
So, and you have the time to prepare at halftime what you want to do on that drive.
Exactly. And I'm almost 100% positive in his mind, he thought we're going to get the ball, we're going to march straight down the field, and we're going to score a touchdown, and we're going to set the tempo of this game. And my opening drive here at Lambeau is going to be a touchdown. And that's a pretty risky, it's a pretty big risk to take for your ego, is how I look at it.
And I look at it like this. Okay, say, I get the mind frame. Hey, we want to get the offense on the field. We want them to get them a rhythm. We want to go down to score. Like I understand wanting that. But say you go down, you get the ball, you receive, you go 3 and out, like has happened a couple times this year. You go 3 and out. You just went 3 and out. Now you give them the ball back. You didn't do anything. You didn't move the field position or anything like that. You give them the ball. Now they get to double dip. They have the possibility to double dip at halftime. And you got nothing out of it. Like it blows
and here's
my mind.
Here's my other thought process is your defense, like we've already said, has carried you all season long. They are lights out. They have been fantastic besides this game, really. Yeah. But coming into that, you have one of the strongest defenses in the league. Why do you not want that defensive start? What have we seen on defensive starts? Strip sacks. We have seen all kinds of things where this defense has set the tone as to how this game's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I understand the week before you opened up with a touchdown drive, and you rolled with the Bears. But in Lambeau, use that defense, let them be aggressive, let them shake them up on the first series, and do the smart thing, like you said, and have the ball to start the second half. It makes zero sense.
It really does. And that's a huge mistake. That's one thing I hated about Garrett, because Garrett did it all the time too. And so when McCarthy first got here, he started deferring. But I don't know why this year McCarthy has decided to start receiving the ball. Now, sometimes, obviously, we receive the ball. It's not our choice because the other team did the smart thing when winning the coin toss, and they deferred. But that for 2 games this year, I know 2 games for sure. The one game against the Lions, with Dak's first comeback, he chose to receive. And then today, he chose to receive. This week, he chose to receive as well. Doesn't make sense. It really doesn't.
Mm-mm. And both those opening drives.
0 points.
Yeah. I mean, you keep doing it and you keep knocking yourself in the head and you ask, why is this hurt? It's because it's the wrong thing to do. Don't do it anymore. Just don't do it. So, thoroughly believe that, I like I said, I am done with hearing we had a winning record in the season and that's why he should have a job the next year. I need proof into the postseason that something's going to happen, that there's going to be a win.
Okay, let me ask you this, Cam. Let's say we go 11-6 this year, or even 12-5 again. We get to the playoffs. We get to the wild card game. Mike McCarthy loses. You make the decision.
Go
Or the
on.
Cowboys lose. You make the decision. Are you firing him?
Absolutely.
Okay.
He's gone. He's
He
gone.
wins the wild card game and then loses the second round and does not make it to the NFC Championship game. Are you keeping him or are you firing him?
I want to say.
Actually, does he? I think his contract's up at the end of the year. I don't know if you would even need to
this
fire him.
one? Yeah.
I think he signed a 3-year contract. This is year 3.
Right. I want to say that in that case, I want to say still gone, but I guess I would have to have it where it's a situation like this last game that you made some crucial mistakes that caused us. If it's a really poor managed coached game, then definitely gone.
Okay, so we're pretty much in the same agreement. If the Cowboys don't reach the NFC Championship game this year, you're moving on.
Yeah,
I would too, especially if Sean Payton is an option.
Right. Well, yeah. And there's rumors back and forth. I had a little birdie this morning tell me that it very much is a possibility that it's happening. I've had others tell me
I've had a birdie tell me that that there are discussions, let's say,
right,
that have taken place on a particular former coach coming to coach in Dallas, but that's not concrete. That's nothing. That's not breaking news or anything like that.
Right.
It's not set in stone, but I have heard whisperings of, hey, they are definitely open to it and the possibility of it happening.
Yeah. I think there's going to have to be a meeting at the crossroads because we know that Sean Payton is not going to just come in here and be Stephen and Jerry's puppet.
Yes.
He wants full control of personnel.
Yes.
He wants player choice. These people will be here and there'll be a barrier, and then this is Sean Payton's team. And I'm gonna wait and see if that actually could occur. And I would be a little apprehensive if it did happen. That would this be a one and done with Sean? Like, you know what? I tried it. You guys can't keep your hand out of the cookie jar, and I'm out. I'm done. My other thing is that we have to be very realistic. He's still under contract next season to the Saints, and it's going to cost us some draft capital, money. I don't care if it costs money.
Money won't matter.
You can write as big a check as you want. Draft capital, though.
Yeah, and there's big split differences on what that draft capital would be.
Right.
There's people saying, "Oh, they're gonna have to give first round picks," and I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I get it that the Oakland Raiders got a first round pick for John Gruden back in the day. I get that. But John Gruden was an active coach on an active contract and coaching. He was a young coach coaching. Sean Payton is not that. He is not on a contract. He's under contract, but he's not an active coach.
Right.
And I look at it more in the light of the Bruce Arians deal a couple of years ago when he retired from Arizona and Tampa Bay traded for him. I think they gave like a 5th and a 6th or something for him.
Right.
Now, Sean Payton might cost more than that. He might cost a 4th and a 5th or something like that. I do that in a second. I don't. That's fine.
We probably are going to get those in comp picks.
Yeah, I give up day 3 picks for Sean Payton any day of the week. But there's still people out there that believe that he'll cost a first round pick. I just don't see it happening. Not with a coach who isn't currently coaching.
Right. So I had an idea that I've been working on for 2 days, and it was about Dak Prescott and his contracts. Mm-hmm. And I dug in and I did a bunch of research, and I'll be damned if Joy Taylor didn't do the exact same thing. I was watching, I was like,
she stole it.
Seriously, that was my segment that I was going through. But you know what? We're still going to talk about it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about a little bit of what she talked about, but then we're also going to talk about some of these upcoming quarterback contracts, because I've got a list of 7 of them right now that are legit quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks that are in that group that everybody talks about, and all their contracts coming up, and versus like what Dak's being paid. So if anybody didn't catch it, Joy Taylor went through and she went through the list of all the quarterbacks being paid. When everybody started giving hell about Dak Prescott and his contract, he was the second highest paid quarterback at that time. And everybody's like, he's not worth it. He's not worth it. He's not worth it. He is now the 9th highest paid quarterback. And he probably takes more grief about being paid that contract than the likes of the people above him. And
definitely does.
Yeah, and we're talking Aaron Rodgers at $50 million, Russell Wilson at $49 million a year. And what has Russell done this year? Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Ride to the bank. That's all he's done.
Right. Kyler Murray.
All he's done is play Call of Duty.
Yeah, that Keebler elf dragging around a bag of money that's taller than him at $46 million. Deshaun Watson, who has not played a game in 22 months, $46 million. Okay, never going to say a word about Patrick Mahomes making $45 million. Good for him. Good for him. Josh Allen, $43 million. Earned it. He's earning it. He's earning it right now.
League in picks this year.
He is, but he's also making some magic happen. So, Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford, both making, well, actually, Derek Carr is making $400,000 more than Dak Prescott.
Derek Carr.
They're 2 and 7, 2 and
6, 2 and 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're bad.
They're so bad. I feel so bad. I have some very good Raider fan friends, and I feel so awful for them. But I will. Here was something for if you were going to do a midday mass. One of my worst takes about the NFL season was I was going to watch every single AFC West game because of the way that conference looked.
It looked so good. It looked so good.
I was like, make every single one of them prime time.
I thought they were going to do what the NFC East is doing.
Right.
Honestly, I thought they were going to just be this juggernaut of a division. And it turns out that the juggernaut is the NFC Beast.
Right. I mean, you've got, Kansas City and then those guys. So, but okay, now I'm thinking about it. So we go on, Kirk Cousins is directly below him, Jared Goff at 33.5, Carson Wentz, bless your heart, Carson Wentz.
Still making that bag.
You need to give your agent the biggest hug and the best Christmas present at $32 million. Did you see
the news this week coming out of the commies camp?
Yeah, that Heineke's starting.
Will start because Wentz is not ready yet. Sure
he's not.
He's not.
Yeah. And then we get into Matt Ryan to round out that. So then looking forward, we've got Dak at his contract at $40 million. And here's the thing. So he's got two years left on it. Am I correct? 2 years left on that contract. So we're sitting at $40 million. You have to sign. We're going to have to sign Micah by the end of those 2 years. Diggs, more than likely, Mr. Sedarian Lamb. And are you going to wait for Lamar Jackson, Burrows, Herbert, Hurts, Tua, possibly Daniel Jones, because they seem to be loving him there in New York, and Ryan Tannehill, which is kind of a fringe guy on this list. Maybe you got Adam, maybe not. He's kind of the outside guy.
I think he's going to be gone. They drafted his replacement.
Yeah. Do you restructure his or do you re-sign him to a new contract before? Definitely those 6 guys, they're going to make more than $40 million. After going through that list, they're all going to make, because $40 million is now the standard.
I'm going to Dak. I'm going to Dak at the end of the year. and I'm negotiating an extension. 100%. 100%. Because these guys are going to be well over $50 million if you wait 4 years. 100% going to Dak at the end of this year and say, "Hey, let's renegotiate this contract."
Right.
You keep his salary cap hit low for the next couple of years, and you move on from there.
Right.
That's the best way to handle this. That is the best way to do it. Now, Steven is going to clutch his purse, and he's going to fight this until we get 4 years down the line. Dak's going to be a free agent, and they can't franchise him. That's in his contract right now.
Oh,
they are no longer able to franchise Dak Prescott. So if they don't sign
and he's
him,
got to know, and he's got the right on the trade clause, right?
I
That
believe
he can
so,
say yes or no. Okay.
I believe so. So in Dak's contract is a no trade clause. I mean, is a no franchise tag clause. So they're going to have to, they're going to have to sign him.
Yeah.
And they better not wait for 4 years and continue to disrespect him because he'll walk.
No. And this is what we're going to need to do. If it's not happening, we are going to take pictures of Russell Wilson, of Rodgers. No, and we as Cowboy Nations will go pick at the Star. And with signs saying $50 million men and walking around. And if we have, because if you look at it, Lamar Jackson signs, he's going to be 45 plus. Burrows is going to be there.
I think Lamar is going to be 50.
Do you think he's going to hit 50?
I don't think I think he's going to be because that's what he's looking for. Lamar wants to be the top paid quarterback in the league. And that's why he hasn't signed yet, because he wants to be the number one paid guy. Now, he won't be the number one paid guy for long.
No.
Because other people are coming up. You got Burrow. You got Tua.
Yeah. And they've built an entire team around those.
Tua is making bank this year.
Yeah.
And
they built a team around Burrows, as far as receivers and everything. These two guys are the face of those two franchises, and they're going to get paid. And you know what? Hurts is going to get paid the way the team's going, this year. So those three alone. Daniel Jones is another one that's kind of on the fringe of, is he going to get paid? But he's in his contract year.
Yeah, he's in his last year.
And they're kind of loving him right now. So
it's very rare, very, very rare when a player does not get his 5th-year option picked up, especially a quarterback who does not get his 5th-year option picked up and then re-signs. So I don't know if he will, but the way they're going, they're not going to put themselves in a position for a high draft pick. So maybe they do sign him to a lower deal. I don't know if he's going to make top money.
No.
But maybe they do sign him to a lower deal, like a couple, 2-3 years, 25, 30 million a year or something like that.
Right.
But I don't think.
But honestly, they drag their feet, and I'm just going to say it. They're going to be looking at
his feet.
They're going to be looking at like 55 mil.
Yeah, Steven's going to drag his feet, and it's going to be high. Really high.
That's dumb football.
Yeah, and that's what it's what we did last time. We could have had him for $33 million a year.
Oh yeah.
But nope. Steven didn't want to pay, so now he ended up paying 40 because he's genius.
And at $33 million, you are now in the Jared Goff, the Wentz, the Matt Ryan area.
You should have signed him when they signed those guys for the same amount, years that he drafted, the same year as them. Yes, I get it. He played better than him. He outplayed him. So give him $34 million.
Right. Yeah.
But instead, you waited. You thought you were smart. You thought you were going to play the system, and you ended up paying $40 million because you're an idiot.
Right.
Thanks, Steven.
Right. And that front office there in Tampa Bay that they're paying Brady $25 million a year. That's brilliant. That's brilliant on their part. Seriously.
Yeah.
You got Tom Brady for $25 million a year. So, and then it does drastically fall off after him. You're down to $15 million, but now you're in the Baker Mayfield, the Winston, the Mariota, And then you hit Trevor Lawrence on a rookie contract.
This
at
is
$9
right
million.
here. Gregory
Right.
hits it on the head.
Right.
They're reactive. They are a
Exactly.
reactive team. Just like, and we were talking about it in the group chat, Cam. We have a group chat with some people, and they're talking about player signing and whether we signed OBJ or not. We are a reactive team to where if another team goes out and makes a move, sometimes we'll react like, oh, now we have to move. We're never that first team.
No.
Never that first team that makes that preemptive strike and goes and gets something. We always react to how everything else is going on.
I will
annoying.
admit that when we traded for Amari Cooper, that was one of the biggest shocks for me out of that front office. I 100% never, ever, ever thought we were going to go throw a one and get Amari Cooper. Like, I remember when my friend texted me and was like, "We just got Amari Cooper." I was like, quit messing with me. You don't play with my heart. We're wide receiver by committee. And for that to turn around, and I mean, that was shocking.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are, and Mass, you and I have talked about it. We talked about it in the chat. We sat there and we drug our feet as far as wide receiver to the point that we didn't get something done, and now there's one option. And I'm going to call it right now. Thanksgiving Day is not the Giants-Cowboys game. It is the OBJ Bowl. And whoever wins,
OBJ Bowl.
And
It
whoever
very well
wins
could be. Absolutely.
is probably going to end up with OBJ.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's going to be a big game.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
But honestly, that game's going to be huge because I think you're right. It's going to be the OBJ Bowl. But moving on and kind of segueing into the next topic, I think Sunday is a must-win game.
I do too.
I think that we have forced ourselves into a corner, and Sunday is a must-win game. And if we don't win, we have zero shot at the division.
Right. Oh, yeah, definitely at the division. Yeah, we have to for the division.
Our playoff odds are still really high. I get that. Even with a loss, it's still high. It obviously takes a knock, but it's still high. But the shot at the division is gone.
Yeah.
Shot at the number one seed, completely gone. It's just stay relevant because you'll be probably two games behind the Giants. You'll be maybe 3 games behind the Eagles. You've lost all 3 of your 4 losses now. That'd be 4 losses against 4 NFC teams. Not good. Yeah. You're losing all your tiebreakers.
Right.
So it'll be tough. This is a must-win game. And I said it when it was going on. Like I hate playing teams coming off a loss because they're more especially teams who are in the hunt for the playoffs, who are good teams, and they're coming off a loss because they're more motivated to get that win. They have to rebound. They can't lose 2 in a row. That really hurts their playoff odds.
Right.
I hate it. I hate playing teams.
Can we fly something around the Vikings camp, around their training facility that says we're in that kind of mindset that
right. So I'm hoping that the Cowboys take that mindset of like, we cannot lose this game at all. We cannot. This is a must-win game, and they come out and they play hard because honestly, the last 2 games, I can't say the defense has really played super hard and its best.
Oh no.
So I think they played great all the way up until the last 2 games, and I don't know if it's because Dak's back, they feel they can relax more because the offense is going to do more, or I don't know if they've just slacked off because they bought into themselves. I don't know, but the last 2 games, it hasn't been great, and they need to step up because you're going to have better offenses coming, and starting with this week with Minnesota, who has a really good offense.
Right. I have a theory somewhat about that. And it kind of almost pertains to last season, so we get 6, 7, 8 games in. And so last year it was the Denver game, and everybody had enough games to get a blueprint on our offense and figure out how to stop it. Well, are we to the point where now there was 9 sample games to be able to watch our well, actually, let's take it back, because the Bears figured out with the run defense. So there was 8 games to dissect of the Cowboys defense and start scheming for it. That, you had enough samples to be able to look and be able to make a good plan.
Yeah, it's very possible. I saw some people pointing out on Twitter before even the Bears game that the Cowboys, especially this year, and it's one of their main issues with the run, against the run, but it's one of the main reasons why they're so good at the pass rush. And that is because we stunt all the time. Our defensive line stunts at an insane percentage. I think it was like, don't kill me on these numbers, I could be way off, but I think it was like something like 60% of the defensive plays, our defensive line stunts, and the next highest was like 18%. There was like a 30 or 40% gap between us and second place on the percentage of snaps that our defensive line stunts, and it was insane. And stunting is great for pass rushing. Stunting is not always great for run stopping, because if you're caught in a stunt and you can't complete your stunt, you're leaving a huge hole for the running back to run. So that is something I think Dan Quinn is going to have to adjust and look at moving forward, because I think teams have started to figure it out, that how much we stunt. And if they get us caught in a stunt, it's a big gain. And so I think the Bears really used that well, and the Packers used that well as on Sunday. So I think that's going to be an adjustment. And we heard Dan Quinn making some references to, hey, we have the personnel, but it's something else we got to fix. And I think they can have personnel to be, like I said, I don't think the run defense is as bad as everybody makes it out to be.
I think Hankins has been doing a great job in the middle.
It's not good, but it's not as bad as everybody makes it out to be. And I made the argument last week, and I'll say again, look at DVOA is one of my favorite stats to look at how good an offense or a defense or certain parts of the team are. And the Cowboys are 11th in the league at rush defense DVOA. So again, not the best, not even close to the best, but they're not the bottom.
No, right.
So can they improve? They absolutely need to improve. But as long as the secondary plays at a high level, you can live with the run defense not being great, which is what they've done. But when the secondary is also terrible, you get last week in Green Bay.
Right.
So
are you okay? So we know that the news just came out that the Eagles signed Ndamukong Suh.
Yes.
Would you rather have had him than Hankins, or did we do the right thing?
Yes, I would have rather had Suh, because I know it's not much, but you don't have to give up any draft capital to get. You didn't have to give up any draft capital to get Suh. In their heydays, when they were both in their heydays, Suh was the better player. As recent as last year, I think Suh was the better player. So yeah, I would have rather had Suh. We'll have to see how he plays when he comes back in.
I wonder why we went that route then.
I don't know.
He had to be on the list. I mean, I'm sure for some reason Dan Quinn.
There's something, because we're in week 11 now and he's just being signed. So there's something more going on that no team really signed him. So I don't know what that something is. I was kind of wondering. I wanted to sign him in the offseason. Obviously, something stopped every team from signing him until now.
Right. And I think it was one of those situations that, I mean, the Eagles definitely need him, because not only did Davis go out, but Tupalupu, whatever.
Everybody talks about
he's hurt also.
Everybody talks about the Cowboys' run defense. The Eagles' run defense is way worse.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They are the bottom of the league in pretty much every run defense stat there is.
And
like,
Washington proved that on
yes, they are
Monday night for
really,
us.
really bad at run defense. So
Yeah.
it blows my mind that people were like, "Oh, the Cowboys you can't win the playoffs with the Cowboys run defense." Oh, the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl.
How does that work out?
Explain that to me.
Right.
But,
Yeah. So let's talk about this Minnesota offense and what our defense has to do to stop it. My biggest thing is I understand we're all screaming that we need to set the edge, and that and we have been getting killed in the last 2 games.
yes.
And it hasn't been up the middle. It has been on the edge, and it not necessarily has been on Tank's side. It's been on the Fowler Armstrong side. I honestly feel that, and I brought this up on the show on Tuesday, that I would actually move Diggs onto Tank's side in the run defense, because he's not that good in with that. So you'd have Tank and him.
Side, yeah.
Where Kelvin Joseph, that's actually his strength.
Mhm.
And that would be the side that you want him to use, would be on the one with Fowler and Armstrong as that second defense type thing.
I can definitely agree with that. In a general game, absolutely 100% agree with you. For this game, and we talked about this a little bit before the show. For this game, I don't want Diggs on any side. I want Diggs lined up wherever Justin Jefferson is. That's where I want Diggs. Now, I get it.
He's got to travel this game. He's got to travel.
He traveled against Cooper Kupp. He has to travel against Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I want Bland and Wright or in KJ on Thielen. I want him and Osborne. I want them to be there dealing with them, because I think the odds are better there. Jefferson's going to destroy them.
I'm still worried about a Bland or a KJ on Thielen, because Thielen's a really good route runner.
Absolutely.
And after we saw what Christian Watson did to Bland, I'm worried about Adam Thielen. I get that. But you don't want Justin Jefferson on there.
Ever.
So I'm traveling Diggs. If Justin Jefferson sits out of play, I want Diggs on the sideline standing next to him.
Right.
Like just wherever Justin Jefferson, Diggs can go in their locker room and sit down next to him. Wherever Justin Jefferson goes on the field on Sunday, I want Diggs there.
I think No C on the Talkin' Boys show said that he wants Diggs to be the drug dog. And he just follows Jefferson, sniffing him everywhere he goes.
Everywhere he goes. Like,
I am your best
Diggs
friend
right
today.
there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You are be his shoulder pads. Like, I just don't let that guy go anywhere without you. And that's our best shot at slowing down Justin Jefferson. Absolutely.
And now they have another threat. They just picked up another threat. We now have to worry about TJ Hawkinson.
We do.
Solid. I mean,
really good tight end.
Great tight end.
Made some plays against us 3 weeks ago when we played the Lions. So we get to see him again. Made some plays. He is a really good blocking tight end, and he is a really good catching tight end. So that's a weapon they have, to where they have weapons on this offense. Like
they do.
I know you have Kirk Cousins at quarterback, but they have weapons on this offense that they can make plays.
And Gregory. Gregory just brought up something I was going to say, is because of Christian Darrisaw being gone, and one thing that I really would like to see, because number one, Kirk Cousins does not make good decisions when under pressure at all. I mean, to make him have to, he can look pretty lost out there on things that he's supposed to do. And I think that's going to be one of the keys with all of that. And can we also tell him that the NFL game of the week at 3:25 is actually prime time? I mean, we'll go change all the clocks there in the stadium.
You gotta line
it's prime.
You gotta line Parsons back up at edge over their replacement there. Last week we had, with Parsons barely rushing, we had no pass rush outside of the occasional pass rush from DeMarcus Lawrence. We had nothing.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers just sat back there and he picked us apart. We had no pass rush. We need Parsons back rushing the passer to generate what he does best, generate pressure, and then also free up and open up other guys to get the rush. That's what he also does that really well. So we need to get pressure on the quarterback. No quarterback does great under pressure. It's just you can't. It's impossible. Like you do, some quarterbacks are better than others, but getting pressure on quarterbacks is how you beat them. And that's right. They have a rookie right guard. So
they do. Ed Ingram.
Odigizua, you're going to have a good a big game. Got to play. So our pass rush got to get home. It really does.
Absolutely. And one note too, for all of us to watch, this actually bites Mass and I every single week, is that, we go and we break down this game and we're having to use yesterday's injury report because the injury report never comes out until right after we sign off on this.
But it'll be out 5 minutes after we leave.
Exactly. Michael Gelkin's probably preparing it right now to tweet, and he's just waiting for the show to end. Exactly. But one notable to keep in mind is that Justin Jefferson does have some kind of toe injury. Yeah. And on a wide receiver, that is bad juju. So
that is bad. So that's something to pay attention to.
Yeah.
But we also got to pay attention to our side. Anthony Brown, concussion protocol, like I said.
Right.
Hopefully he can get cleared and he can play. DeMarcus Lawrence did not practice yesterday with a foot injury.
His foot. Yeah.
I'm hoping that that's just precautionary and he's good to go and he's back practicing today, because that worries me. And then Quentin Bohanna was out yesterday too, right?
Right. Yeah, he was out, and then Anthony Barr still with the hamstring.
Yeah, I don't see Anthony Barr playing.
Yeah. So, and I think that's the bulk of our injury report right now. I haven't heard. How long's Lewis out for?
Lewis out for the year.
He went out for the year. Who am I confusing him with? I don't know why. I didn't realize that. But okay, so let's go to the defensive side for them. And we do have one that we really have to that it would be good for us if he is not in the game, and that's Zadarius Smith.
Yes.
I mean, that's huge if we can take him out of the game with that.
Big pass rusher helps out him and Danielle Hunter. They can get after the quarterback. So Zadarius Smith has been playing well with them. So if he is not able to go, that alleviates some of the pass rush. Hopefully, allows our line to hold up a little bit more, and we can get Dak some more time in there. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Step on that toe. My bad.
My bad. We'll have Hankins. We'll have Hankins do it.
Yeah, Hankins is the guy that needs to do that. Absolutely.
Right. And the other questionable they have is Dalvin Tomlinson, their
the guy
left edge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But okay, let's talk about. I think we can run against them. I do think that we can have this run game against them. We're still questionable if Zeke's going to be in or not. More than likely, I think he's back. I think
you can. I think you can move against this defense easily. I don't see a huge amount of issues. Their cornerbacks, Dantzler's okay. He's a young guy. He's pretty good. He's not great.
Patrick
Peterson's way past his prime. Like I know he had a game-winning interception last week. That was a terrible decision by Josh Allen. He is not the cornerback he used to be. He can get beat easily. Harrison Smith's still a good player.
Yes.
He's not what he used to to be.
No, but he's
still a good
solid.
player.
Right.
So I think that this offense can move. This offense can score. I don't see really that big of an issue. I think the offense will be fine. It's whether the defense kicks it back into high gear. We can slow down the run enough to get some pressure, some third and longs, and get some pressure on Kirk Cousins. That's going to be the key.
Right. So let's talk about our game predictions. And honestly, I have to say mine on Tuesday was a lot clouded and jaded and not very happy. And for the first time all season, I picked us to lose this game. Now, kind of breaking it down, separating myself from last Sunday and my need for Mike McCarthy to sit on a cactus. I have been able to look at some things, I think, a little bit more clearly. I think this is a very close game.
Mm-hmm.
There's no blowout. There is no 40 burgers this week. There's nothing like that. Which could be a little reverse psychology because every
There
time
you
I've
go.
called 40 burgers.
Put up 40s.
So I'm see, this one's still hard for me to say that we're going to win this one. It's really hard, but even Vegas has us by 1.5 as an away team. So I'm going to have changed my prediction from Tuesday when I said we were going to lose. And I think we win 27-24.
Okay. I have been on this train for weeks now that the Vikings are frauds.
Okay.
I have been on. They have beat.
I hope you are right.
They have beat absolutely nobody except the Bills last week, but the Bills,
they made some big mistakes.
And the Bills also. Josh Allen's playing with that UCL injury,
right?
And the Bills are beat up. They're beat up. They're missing a lot of guys,
right?
So that's the only team they beat. Credit to them. They won. A lot of Bills mistakes, fumbling. You have the game in hand, and you fumble on the goal line and let them recover in the end zone for a game-tying touchdown.
Why did
with less than a minute left in the game?
Why are you not passing the ball when you're in the end zone and you need? Why did you not throw the ball?
They couldn't even get the snap off. That's terrible. Right. So the Bills gave that game away. That's what the Vikings have done. They've come back and they've won these close games. They found a way, scraping out last-second touchdown against the Lions, last-second touchdown against the Bears. You know, like they're scraping by, and they're beating teams. Not impressive, and I think they're frauds in my opinion. And so I'm going to have the Cowboys winning, and I have the Cowboys winning 31-21.
Nice. I like it. I like it a lot. And I hope you are completely right about them being frauds. Cam's giving us the kiss of death. I'll take the kiss. Goodness.
Oh, man. TC's not in here. He'd be mad.
Right. So, but yeah, it's earlier this week I was like, this is awful. It's the end of the world. You know, I didn't think our playoff hopes were over and the season was over. I was just mad. Yeah, I was mad. I'm not going to lie. I was mad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was going such a great weekend. My dogs beat Oregon. The only thing better than that is us beating the Eagles, but and that didn't happen. But it was really good. But you know, I was not a happy girl Sunday night, and it took me a while to. I mean, I wasn't even going to watch the game on Monday night. I was like, screw it, I like football right now. And our dear friend LP was like, you have to, and I was like, he's like, it's research, and I'm like, fine. And it brought my spirits back around. Not that I love Washington by any means. You know, they are our true rival, even though people don't see that. You know, a lot of the newer fans don't. But yeah, I was pretty happy that Eagle fans didn't get to talk about the 72 Dolphins anymore.
Oh, he's saying it.
Oh, he changed his name.
He changed his name. He changed his names on us. I had no idea that it was TC.
Sneaky.
He's been in here chatting, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Sneaky.
There he goes. No. But hey, you know what? I agree with you. I had a rough week. It was, you know, it's always a tough time for me when we lose, and especially in that fashion. To go back and watch film and watch it and be like, okay, what happened here? Where did we make mistakes? Going back and watching the Dak interceptions, you know, trying to break that down. And it's tough. You get pissed off, you get mad. But you got to move on. You got to move on to the next game. You're not going to win every game, so you got to learn hey, you're going to lose some that you were supposed to lose. You're going to win some you're supposed to. Lose some you're supposed to win. You're going to win some you're supposed to lose. A lot of people say we're going to lose this week. I think we're going to win. Vegas agrees with me, so I'll take that. But
right.
I think that they come out with a purpose. I think this defense is going to come out angry, and they're going to come out to prove a point. So we'll see
I
how
hope
it goes.
so. I hope so. Yeah, I think Dan Quinn has had his hat on backwards all week, and he's doing some magical Dan Quinn things, and some things are going to get worked out with that. Before we get out of here, are we ever going to give away a T-shirt?
I don't know. Nobody wants to win a T-shirt. Nobody
what is going on,
is predicting this correct score. I'm going to put it up again today. Just to let you know, say, hey, guys, I want to give away this shirt. I want to. I need to give it. I need to give away this shirt.
We have 2 of them to give away.
Yes. So I'm going to put it out there again. Say, hey, correctly predict the score.
Yeah.
Win a T-shirt. That's all you got to do.
People, reply
with the score, get it right, and you get a shirt for free.
Right.
Shipped
follow
right
Mass,
to your house.
Follow me. Follow Twisted Gorilla.
And you get a shirt.
Getting a T-shirt, guys, and they're pretty cool T-shirts. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah, there's some, and you get to choose what T-shirt you want.
Right.
So
right.
Hey,
I hear there's a Vanderbabe coming out. So.
I heard there's going to be a TC and Cam one that they're going to make there. We got to confirm that one later. TC's been putting that in their head.
Man.
Yeah, but yeah, I will put that post out again, and just make sure you comment. Make sure you're following me. You're following Cam. You're following Twisted Gorilla, and we'll try again to give away another T-shirt. Week 11, right? Week 11?
11 weeks we've been trying this, guys. Yeah. Come on. Do better. Man, also, make sure that tomorrow night, Freestyle Friday with the gang. And then next Tuesday will be me and Stevie J. Wednesday night, I'm pretty sure we're doing Wednesday night.
Pick 6 Sports Show.
Yeah, with Nix and Professor O, Spoonie, and Mary. And then I guess you and I are going to have to discuss about next Thursday.
That's right. We'll have to figure that out.
We'll talk it out. We'll figure it out, because we do have a game that day. But we can figure out something. So
we'll figure out something for Thanksgiving. We'll get a Thanksgiving surprise for you guys. We'll figure something out.
Yeah. So, but yeah, thanks for everybody for tuning in. And
make sure you like, you share, tell your friends, tell your family. Love having more people join the Pick 6 family. So, yeah.
And hit that notification number so you know notification so you know when we go live.
Absolutely.
But
have a good one, everybody.
Yeah. And go Cowboys.
That's right.